Hi, my name is Burke Franklin. I'm the creator of Business Power Tools and the original developer of BizPlan Builder business planning software. Over the years, I've learned a lot of things about investor presentations and a number of things. And what I want to show you in this quick video is a couple of things that will help you, protect you from making a couple of catastrophic mistakes with investors. So let me show you the financial model here. This is our demand revenue model. And what prompted me to talk about this with you is that I was on a panel with 4 venture capitalists. We were judging a student business plan competition. And in this competition, every one of the teams would say, yeah, in the first year, we're going to do $1 million in sales. And I thought to myself, that's kind of strange. And I said, is it just me, or do all these businesses do $1 million in their first year? And all the VCs just burst out laughing. They said, you'd be blown away at how many people come in and tell us they're going to do $1 million in the first year. And so what I want to show you here is how you build up a credible case for the kind of money you're going to make. Everybody, the investors, you want to know, how big can this business become? What's your growth potential here? And that's really where you want to start this presentation, is talking about who the customers are. In this example, I'm using, boat anchors as the product, okay? But we've got sailboat owners and powerboat owners and fishing boat owners and all kinds of different boat owners here who might buy a boat anchor from you. Okay, so, and we've put in enough room for 10 segments. I've had customers say, we want 100, but you know what? 100 is just overwhelming. It's the investors will look at you and think, or the bankers are going to look at you and think, you're scattered, you're trying to do too much, you need to focus. So I think of 10, we got 10 fingers, we can handle that. 10's a good number. Boil down whatever it is to segments, to profit centers, to whatever it is, to no more than 10, let's say. Of course, you can add more. It's a spreadsheet you can do. It's 100% flexible. You can do whatever you want, so that's available, but just saying. All right, so now in this first column, you'll see I have 350,000 put in here, and all of these cells have some little post-it pop-up note that will explain what we're looking for here. In this case, I'm talking about the total available market, let's say, of sailboat owners. Now, what I did when I did this was I looked in, it's like Sailing Magazine, and Sailing Magazine has 350,000 paying subscribers. So I could put that in here, knowing that the investors, when they do their due diligence, the due diligence is when they verify, like the old Russian proverb, trust but verify. So they're going to verify everything you say, everything you present, and it's not 3 strikes you're out, it's 1 strike you're out. So you've got to get it all right from the get-go. And this is important to start building your credibility right at the beginning of your financial presentation. So it's important to start out with some real factual numbers that you can verify. So I would say, hey, I got Sailing Magazine, they've got 350,000 subscribers. Of course, there's other magazines like that, but I'm just saying this for example. You could rent the mailing list, you could buy the email list, you could do whatever, but you got 350,000 people here to work with. So, and in this annual growth column, we're allowing you to project, or enabling you to project an increase. So you can say, and it's going to grow at 5% or 2% or whatever you think it is. So likewise with the rest of these customer segments. Now, like everything we do in our spreadsheets, you've got the blue text is going to be what you type in. The black text, of course, is what's calculated. Nevertheless, if you know Excel, you can change anything and everything anywhere you want. But the idea here is we've got these segments. They automatically repeat down here. So anything that's repetitive, we try to make it as simple as possible for you, and so you don't have to type really as much as you might need to otherwise. Now, one of the other things we've seen here, we have a competitor that points out that, hey, we've got this really cool looking graph, and you can drag the graph in any shape you want to have it and so it looks good, and then it'll automatically generate the numbers for you. And you think, that's really slick. The problem you're going to have is, how do you explain to the investors how you arrived at these numbers? Are you going to tell them, oh, I just grabbed a graph and made it look good and it filled in the numbers? They're going to laugh you out of the room. That's a problem. So here's how this thing works. The next bit down here in this next box is going to be market share. Now, oftentimes what you might want to be tempted to do is say, well, I've got these customers, I'm going to sell these many units, and then calculate after the fact the market share. And of course, when you're pitching investors, they're going to have the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed MBAs in the room, or they're all MBAs to begin with, and they're going to have their calculators out and say, what kind of market share is this guy talking about? And so I suggest and recommend strongly that you start thinking in terms of market share first. Because here's where the second catastrophic mistake most people make. They say, well, if we get 1% of the market, we're going to do this, that, we're going to have all this success. I'm here to tell you that if you say 1%, that is a catastrophic major bozo no-no to say to anybody, because it just says you don't know your numbers, you're throwing down 1%, like that's going to mean something. And some people want to see you have a bigger market share than that, and some aren't going to believe it at all, but it just screams you didn't do your homework. 1% is a non-number. Anything but that is what you need to lead with. So we want to start you out thinking in terms of market share. And here we put in the basic, in the spreadsheet here for the initial number that you're going to edit, 0.5%. Okay, so let's say you get 0.5% of these 350,000 sailboat owners. Now you have 1,750 sailboat owners who are going to become customers. Okay, simple math. And then it totals down to the total number of customers here. And then we also enable you to put in, you may have an existing customer base. In this case, we just threw in 10,000 as a variable to include. And so that'll add up, and you can see what the total market share of the world is when you have this, and we calculate that for you. And a lot of these numbers, especially in this model, we're helping you. When the investors and lenders look at this model, the model speaks for itself. You don't have to explain it to them. We've already done that for you. So you just put in the stuff that makes sense to you. So here's your offer, your product. These product names are going to be filled in on the assumptions page. So you see them in here. And then you put the price. This is the part of the table where you fill in the price for the product. And again, you can say it's going to increase at a certain percentage or decrease at a certain percentage over time. And that just automatically factors in and grows over time. And then the next table, we talk about the probability of purchase. That's simply, you could have a customer could buy several different, products from you. So it isn't like the sailboat owners could buy, well, in this case, the boat anchor thing doesn't quite fly, but you could have a product line that different customers could buy different quantities of all your products. And so here we're putting in what percentage of product one is this customer likely to buy. And that translates down into units sold, which then multiplies times price and gives you projected revenue per customer segment per product. And then you will arrive at a realistic number, not just a flat $1 million. It sounds good, but you'll have a realistic starting number, and the investors will see how you got there from here. And that's the important thing, is how do you calculate these numbers and build up from assumptions? Because with bad assumptions, everything else that follows is bad. And so it's very important that you have this. So I hope that makes sense. There's a lot to this. There's a lot of information here, but I think when you start putting in your own products and services and your own numbers, this is going to be a lot more interesting to you, and you're going to have a really, really good model, and I think you're going to enjoy the process of putting together your business plan with BizPlan Builder.